excited to have you here. So I'm Dr. Carpenter. I'm Co-Chief Executive Officer of BCPH, Chief Strategy Officer, and the third Editor-in-Chief of the actual journal. So very excited to see many of you prospective scholars and potential faculty as well in the audience.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. And I will give our prospective mentor and alumni a chance to introduce themselves a bit later in the session, if that's all right. But I'd like to begin with a quick poll before we actually talk a little bit about our home organization, the Boston Congress of Public Health, which hosts the RSP program. So, Dr. Lecomte, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the poll for those attending live in the audience, we're very interested to see whether you may be prospective students that are interested in applying, prospective faculty, if you wouldn't mind filling that out. And as we do so, I will pass it back to Dr. Carpenter to just describe a little bit about the Boston Congress of Public Health.
Yeah, absolutely. So BCPH, and I think some of you are familiar with us, but we are a nonprofit. We are actually 5 years old now, so quite an accomplishment. But we are a public health and social justice institution that not only does a number of different academic and educational programming like this one, RSP, but we also run the journal, the Boston Congress of Public Health Review. I will just kind of leave it there, but feel free to check us out at bcph.org and bcphr.org to learn more. And if there's anything else, Lecomte, that you wanted to add?
No, I think you captured everything very nicely. But I think our audience is here to learn about the RSP program, so I'd like to hand it back to Catherine.
Thank you very much. So that sets the stage quite nicely, actually, for our information session about the Research Scholars Program. This program is a unique program. It is able to connect students and mentors from across institutions, across faculties, across the world. We do have a global presence as well, in a learning community that allows folks to engage in foundational research skills and really build their development, whether you're someone that's just beginning your research journey or an emerging scholar in the area. So with that being said, the Research Scholars Program is actually a 12-week program. It's rather intense, and this year's cohort 3, will begin in late September and will wrap up by late December. The student scholar tuition for the program is $600, and that covers the program fees, manuscript article processing charges, as well as access to our BCPH Academy, which I will speak a little bit about in our further slides. So in terms of faculty benefits, our program really does rely on the volunteers and our mentors who are coming from a wide array of facilities and backgrounds. So it's a really nice group we have together, one of which is on the call today and will speak a little bit about herself and research interest later. But in terms of faculty benefits, faculty do receive co-authorship on the peer-reviewed publication and academic poster that's produced in co-authorship with the student during our program. And that will be published after it has gone through the peer review process and upon acceptance in the Boston Congress of Public Health Review, which I mentioned a bit earlier. They will also receive recognition in program materials. Your profile will be featured in BCPHR and, of course, our promotional channels. And you'll also be invited to virtual award ceremonies, capstone presentations, and other networking events that BCPH offers. Perhaps most importantly, you'll have the opportunity to help shape the next generation of health equity researchers while also advancing your own research. So we work in a collaborative relationship as you help folks advance their skills and advance your projects with the help of motivated student collaborators. And of course, we'll wrap all that up with a certificate of appreciation for successful mentors. In terms of student benefits, you'll receive professional mentorship, and of course, all that occurs through project-based learning. So there's a real hands-on experience here over the 12 weeks. You'll be gaining knowledge in qualitative and quantitative research methods, depending on which project you're interested in terms of interest between yourselves and the mentor. And you'll also have opportunities for first authorship on a peer-reviewed publication and academic poster presentation, and then have the exciting opportunity to present your work and findings in our BCPH graduation webinar celebration, where we allow folks to present what they've learned throughout their journey to our learning community. So it's a very nice interactive experience. We'll also be hosting an award ceremony to honor you for your successful completion of the program. And throughout this period, you'll all have access to BCPH Academy, I've included an image there on the right-hand side of the screen. As you can see, that offers a variety of skill building courses, some of which are required for the program in terms of gaining basic developmental skills and foundational research experience, as well as a variety of many, many more programs across the public health sphere. We have courses about epidemiology, public health, maternal health, and a variety of interviews with experts in the field, as well as shown in the image. So all of that is accessible to students, as well as certificate opportunities for those who do complete those courses. In terms of the actual program activities, though, during our 12 weeks, we will go through orientation and onboarding, so no need to worry about remembering all these little details. We'll also have a weekly mentoring experience where each mentor will meet with their student scholar at least once a week. They'll go through research project development, and there will be regular oversight from our RSP leadership team as we check in to make sure everything's on track and are available for questions during the research journey. We'll also offer skills building workshops, access to all the content from the Academy, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, folks are able to produce a final presentation, research publication, and academic poster. But I did want to take a moment to highlight our past cohorts and the wonderful work they have produced as part of the program. So as we can see, we have a nice variety of research manuscripts. I have here an image of an academic poster that was submitted by one of the students, I believe, on the call today. And we also have our webinars, so you could take a look at that. Those are all available on our website. And the past webinars are available for folks to take a look at if they'd like to learn about the findings, as well as all our manuscripts available on the Boston Congress Public Health Review for those that may be interested in reading about the work our amazing scholars have produced. So that's enough from me, and I'd like to turn it over to our wonderful alumni who have joined us today to speak a little bit about their previous experience in the program and what they've learned. So I will turn it over to our first speaker, Lucy. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you, Catherine. So my name is Lucy. I was in the previous cohort of BCPH. My paper was Weathering the Storm, and it was a literature synthesis about the social determinants of health affecting maternity and getting maternity, like maternity care and prematernal care, specifically for Black women. And I would really recommend BCPH because they were really open to any topics that I was personally interested in. And I knew I was always interested in women's health, but I didn't know how to really approach it research-wise. And I had such a hard time, like, finding those articles and knowing how to like take them together and make something out of it. But they were really supportive. We always had weekly meetings. We had monthly meetings with, Catherine and Cersei and Candace, and they were all very supportive of me and like helping me figure out the research process. Getting a Prisma done, and they also, assigned me to someone or like a professor who had the same interest as me, so I didn't feel like I was going at it alone. And they're really intentional with like who they match you up with because they want you to have a good experience. They want you to know the research process like the back of your hand, and they want you to be like the future leaders of research. So yeah, I would really recommend BCPH. And if you guys ever have any questions, just let me know or let Catherine know. And we really hope that you join us in the future cohort.
Well, thank you so much, Lucy. Yes, and if folks do have any questions, perhaps prospective students, feel free to put them in the chat and we can address them at the end of the presentation. But Lucy, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. I know you may have classes and other things going on, so very nice to hear about your experience as a research scholar. And yes, we do aim to try to match folks with complementary interests together. So Lucy produced that wonderful manuscript that is available on our website for folks to take a look at, for folks to read. So thank you again, Lucy. I also
Thank you,
think,
Catherine.
of
I'm
course,
sorry for the background noise too. Like,
no worries at all. No worries at all. Very nice hearing from you. I think we may also have another scholar on the call. I'm not sure if Garima is able to make it or is is here today, but she is another research scholar that was present in our past cohort. And I could speak a little bit about her manuscript, which is at the top here, about gun violence exposure, social safety, and cognitive health among gender minority populations. So if you are on the call, we'd love to hear from you, Garima, but otherwise, I will continue. So I'll just pause here. Dr. Lecomte, I'm not sure if you could see the list of attendees. Sorry, I
You
think
do
you're
not
on mute.
see Garima on the call.
Dr. LeConte, I think you're on mute still.
I'm sorry, she was also sent a panelist invitation, so I don't believe that she was able to join after all.
All right, no problem at all. But Dr. LeComte, I think you were actually her mentor. Would you like to talk a little bit about her project? It was quite an interesting one.
If you could go back to the slide showing the different articles, that's wonderful. So one of the things, Dr. Garima Siwaj is a clinician, and one of the interesting things about her research is she took this opportunity to actually pivot and learn about something completely new. And she did a literature review, and she really dedicated herself to the process. She went through all of the research, and every time we met, she had a huge pile of papers, read all of them, annotated them, and then wrote this very comprehensive review. And one of the interesting things that came out of this is, in terms of gun violence, we found that there was a disparate preponderance of gun violence among gender minorities, and that gun violence was related to cognitive function declines disproportionately later in life. However, this wasn't studied specifically among sexual and gender minorities. So this was a paper that really set up a new line of research in the future. So she did a really nice job with this. And we were able to go through peer review, and it was quite successful. So, and it also gave her a leg up and something to differentiate herself when she applied to residency programs and other sort of public health programs in the United States and elsewhere that she wanted to pursue. I can also speak to Nicole Georgie's work. We worked together on several different papers and looking at insurance type with emergency care department use in New York State. And the preponderance of literature has pointed to those public types of insurance being more likely to use emergency rooms. This research was able to show that those who were using public insurance were actually 20% less likely to be engaged in emergency department use for conditions that were better served in primary care locations. We were able to turn this, or I supported her in turning this into a letter to the editor. And then we actually, you can see over here, we're able to continue this research later in a second cohort. Nicole will be presenting on her research at the American Public Health Association conference this coming September. And she also presented at a different national conference earlier in the spring. So your work doesn't actually stop. You know, when the paper gets published, you can move on. And in terms of your relationship with mentors, they do not end when publication goes forward as well. We stay in touch with you. We can talk you through new lines of research. So this is a relationship that can endure. So I'd like to hand it back to you, Catherine. Thank you for that moment.
Dr. LeCompte, yeah, for shedding some light on your findings with Nicole and with Garima as well. And if folks are interested to hear more about it, they are most welcome to check out our webinar recording. But yes, actually, speaking of Nicole, she wasn't able to make it today, but she did forward me a message she wanted me to read on her behalf in terms of her reflections on the program. So I'll just take a moment to do so. Nicole says, this past fall and spring, I was involved in the BCPH program, and it has been such an integral part of my development as a student and researcher. Through the modules, I learned a lot about public health and research, and I had the chance to develop my own projects and work towards publishing my research. Dr. Carpenter and Catherine and the faculty and staff have been so supportive through the whole process. and they've created an atmosphere in which students can really learn and ask questions and grow. A big and special extra thanks to my mentor, Dr. LeConte, who has been an amazing guide throughout my experience. She has helped me grow tremendously as a researcher, taught me skills that I know I will use in the future, and has always been someone I can turn to for guidance. I've gotten close with her through this process, and whoever gets to work with her in future will have an amazing time. One of my favorite things about BCPH is how the mentors really help you develop a research project based on your own interests. You get to explore questions that are really important to you, but also get the guidance you need to translate those interests into meaningful public health research. I would definitely recommend the program to anyone interested in research or public health. So thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing your words with us, even though you couldn't be here today. I think they give a nice example of your experience, and we do appreciate that. So throughout this experience, we will equip students with the skills needed to gain greater knowledge and confidence in, as we've seen, academic and professional public speaking, editorial and peer review as they get the chance to go through the peer review process and learn what that's about and how to improve their piece, research methodology and design with the help of their mentors, and of course, manuscript structure and academic poster creation, all under the mentorship and guidance of public health researchers. So with that, I would like to pause a moment and introduce some prospective mentors who will be mentoring for this upcoming cohort. I know we have Dr. San on the call and Dr. Kajuaja as well, but I did want to pause here a moment and let Dr. San introduce herself and perhaps speak a little bit about your research interests, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thank you for having me. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Deborah Esan, a registered nurse and a professor of nursing based in Nigeria. I work currently with Bowen University in Iwo, a private university. I'm currently the Dean of Nursing. I oversee undergraduate students and postgraduate program in nursing, and I supervise and mentor students, both undergraduate students and postgraduate students. My research focus actually is on health interventions in chronic disease management. I'm also highly interested in maternal health as related to highly marginalized women, women who cannot speak up for themselves. So I've worked on areas regarding sexual violence, intimate partner violence, birth preparedness and complication readiness. And recently, I am particularly interested in neonatal health because as it stands today, Nigeria ranks among countries with high morbidity and mortality, neonatal morbidity and mortality. So we've been, myself and my mentor in the US, we've been looking at the situation of NICU, the intensive care unit, the adequacy, the preparedness, and what exactly is responsible for high morbidity and mortality rates at the neonatal period. And we have also been involved in training, particularly the training of unskilled birth attendants in neonatal resuscitation. I actually do a training on helping babies breathe. I'm highly interested because I feel that as much as possible, we advocate for skilled birth attendants. There are women who would not get to the hospital. They just don't believe it. They should come to the hospital. So I work at the grassroots to empower unskilled, we call them traditional birth attendants. But what we are doing currently in Nigeria is to see possibility of integrating them into the formal sector. I'm also keenly interested in oncology, particularly cancer prevention and screening, because most of the cancer cases we have in Nigeria present late into the hospital. Before they come over, they are either at stage 4 or stage 3. They wouldn't come. Once they see a sign, they just feel, oh, what comes to mind is spirituality. So what we've been doing is to advocate for early detection through screening by promoting basic life modifications and empowerment that individuals can do to actually pick cancers early. These are some of my research interests, and I look forward to impacting my knowledge to upcoming scholars. Thank you, Catherine. That's
Thank you
all
so
for
much.
that.
Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself and your research interests. So as folks can see, we do have a wide variety of possible mentors who are interested in a very dispersed range of topics. And I know that there are a few others on the call, but can't speak today. But thank you so much for your attention, especially to you, Dr. Kajawaja, who I know is also attending today. So I did want to give a chance to turn it to the audience for folks who may have questions. We'd love to hear them. Of course, if anything comes to mind later, you can always ask questions at communications@bcph.org or gain further information about the program on our website here below. And of course, I'd like to encourage everyone to take a look at the previous webinars and manuscripts our wonderful student scholar mentor pairs have produced. So I'll pause a moment there and turn it over to you.
I'll hop in because there was a question that I had answered in the Q&A earlier, so I just wanted to answer it live as well, that there was an individual who was interested in becoming faculty. So I wanted to say that we're always recruiting faculty. This faculty cohort for cohort 3 in September is full. However, we can continue to talk to people because this RSP program runs at least twice a year in the spring as well as in the fall. So ultimately, very welcoming of any faculty applications, but for the most part, the things that we're looking for now for this cohort in September are those of you who are prospective scholars.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carpenter. And yes, happy to speak with folks. We do encourage mentors to apply on a rolling basis, and we always try to fit students with their mentors in terms of aligning interest. I cannot see the chat at this point, so Dr. LeCompte, I'll rely on you to let me know if folks do have any other questions.
Yes, I'm just looking through the session today to see if there's any questions here. We have people from all over the world, including Nepal, and we do hope that you and yours are safe at this time. Just a note there. But I don't see any other questions at this time.
I actually do. I see another Q&A from Lauren Lucero.
Oh,
Question is,
wonderful.
I'm happy to read it. Do I need to be a student? What if I'm already a doctor, but really interested in publishing community research? So the RSP is predominantly geared towards individuals who are new to research. We have had individuals who are already physicians or other types of clinicians be part of this, but this is predominantly meant for those who are in high school, college, going into their master's and or pre-doctoral program. So we're willing to consider individuals who are doctors, but this program is designed to help, the new scholar emerging within public health, social justice, et cetera, as opposed to a program just to kind of increase the portfolio of already well-established researchers.
Yes, and looks like they're saying they're new to research. So
Absolutely. So if you feel that you may qualify, absolutely feel free to apply. And then obviously the committee will be able to determine whether or not you would be eligible for the program.
yes, and
Wonderful.
someone just asked about how do I join a cohort and where is the starting point?
That's a great question. So we do have the application for students on our website. And Dr. Compt, if you wouldn't mind perhaps including it in the chat as well, just for ease of access. That would be the starting point. So you would want to submit your application before our deadline. It asks a couple of questions about your interest, your goals for joining the program. I do believe we ask for your CV, letter of recommendation. So to really go through that process would be the very first starting point for you.
Yes, and I'm putting the application in the chat.
Thank you.
And we'll be sending out a follow-up email to everybody, and we'll include that link in there as well.
Are there any other questions? Of course, if there's nothing comes to mind now, you're always free to email us, but just want to give a chance to speak to the audience.
Yes, and Laura, I see too that you have a pilot that you want to publish, and that would align very well with this program, especially if you're new to the whole process, and that's what the mentorship piece is about. So,
I guess before we conclude, because no need to drag on the webinar if there aren't any additional questions, I did want to just emphasize again the tuition piece of the RSP. At this time, we don't have scholarships and we unfortunately don't have anything to waive that stipend. So that is part of the program for scholars as well. So make sure that if that's something that is feasible for you, then apply. But if that's not feasible, then that may not be something that you can do for this cohort, but then look for future cohorts if there are additional scholarships available.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carpenter. So I would like to draw us to a close by thanking everyone who has attended. It was wonderful interacting with you, and hopefully folks are inspired to join the program. And of course, thank you for the time that you've shared with us, Dr. San, Lucy, and all of our prospective mentors, as well as past alumni who may have hopped on the call. Really appreciate you sharing your experiences, and it's wonderful seeing you again as always.
yes, and I do see that Dr. Carpenter is answering. This is open to students in high school as well. So we do that type of mentorship.
Right, absolutely. And as I said before, there is certain criteria as well in terms of being new to research. So that can be high school, college, medical school, um, residency, and then also a very high level of motivation. This program is 12 weeks, and so you have to be able to work very quickly and very well with your mentor. So obviously, high school students can be part of that, but ultimately the motivation and having the schedule to be able to do it is the biggest thing because unfortunately, if you're not able to complete the program, you cannot necessarily just bounce to a future cohort. You have to complete everything within that designated 12 weeks.
Yeah, so we're always looking to form a positive experience for our students and mentors. So take the time to review the program, see if it's a good fit for you. And if it is, we're excited to receive your applications. All right, and with that, if there are no further questions, I will end the call here and thank you all once again.
Thank you.
Okay.